Have you ever wondered how a tiny seed becomes a mighty tree? It doesn't happen with thunderous effort. It begins in silence, hidden beneath the soil, inching its way toward the sun. Have you ever noticed how a tiny seed, buried in the soil, has within it the potential to become a mighty tree? And yet, it doesn't push through the soil in one great leap. It grows quietly, inch by inch, day by day, towards the light. Life, my friends, works in the same way. Transformation is not about a single moment of brilliance or a sudden miracle. It begins in the small, almost invisible choices we make every day. It begins with awareness, it begins with intention, and it begins with a willingness to change, even in the face of discomfort. For the next 15 days, I want you to consider that you hold the power to transform your life. Not because the world will suddenly bend in your favor, and not because circumstances will change magically, but because you are willing to change yourself. And real change, the kind that touches the heart and shifts your life, begins from within. Your thoughts, your habits, your intentions, these are the architects of your destiny. We often look outward, hoping for life to reward us, hoping that some extraordinary event will suddenly make us better, happier, more fulfilled. But the truth is, the extraordinary is hidden in the ordinary. Every ordinary day, every ordinary action has within it the potential for extraordinary growth. And it starts with something very simple: awareness. Watch your thoughts. Observe the stories you tell yourself about who you are and what life is. Are you telling a story of limitation, fear, and I can't? Or are you telling a story of courage, opportunity, and I will try? The mind is incredibly powerful. Feed it with wisdom, gratitude, and purpose, and your life begins to align with what truly matters. Once awareness is awakened, action must follow. Change is not an abstract concept, it is a practice. Begin small. Replace one old habit with a new empowering one. Perhaps for the next 15 days, you decide to start your mornings with gratitude, to respond to challenges with calmness rather than anger, to offer a word of kindness when you would have otherwise remained silent. These may seem small, even trivial, but they accumulate like drops of water filling a vessel. And suddenly, without realizing it, your life has changed. Happiness, my friends, is not a destination, it is a byproduct of living rightly. It grows when you align your actions with your values, when you choose gratitude over complaint, service over selfishness, and presence over distraction. And as you cultivate these small but powerful shifts in thought and habit, you will begin to notice the magic. Your relationships improve, your confidence grows, and your sense of peace expands. Do not fear discomfort. Challenges are the sculptors of character, the fire that refines the spirit. Each difficulty you face is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. For the next 15 days, I urge you not to chase change, but to choose it consciously, intentionally, every morning, every evening, every moment. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and remember, life does not change because the world changes. Life changes because you change. When you nurture the seeds of awareness, habit, and purpose, you will look back in 15 days and see a person who is not defined by circumstances, but by courage, wisdom, and heart. Change your days and you change your life. Life, my friends, is a series of moments strung together like pearls on a string, and often we underestimate the power of a single day, a single choice, or a single thought. We think transformation is something that happens somewhere far away in the future, after years of struggle, or only when circumstances are perfect. But the truth is that change, meaningful change, begins with awareness in this very moment. If you wake up tomorrow with the intention to shift even one thought, even one habit, even one response, your life begins to move in a new direction. And 15 days, my friends, is all it takes to ignite that spark that can change everything. Imagine a sculptor working with a block of marble. He does not strike the stone once and expect a masterpiece. He chips away slowly, patiently, every day, observing, adjusting, and refining. Life works the same way. Every decision, every habit, every tiny act of awareness is like a gentle chip shaping your inner sculpture. And just as the sculptor knows what he wants to reveal within the stone, you too must have a vision of the person you want to become. The next 15 days are your opportunity to begin chiseling that vision into reality. The first step is to watch your thoughts. We often complain that life is hard, that we are unlucky, that opportunities never come. But the real question is, what are the stories we are telling ourselves every day? If your mind is feeding on negativity, fear, and self-doubt, it is no wonder your life mirrors that story. But when you consciously choose to feed your mind with optimism, gratitude, and curiosity, something extraordinary happens. You start noticing possibilities where once you saw obstacles, and hope begins to bloom even in the darkest corners. The second step is action. Awareness without action is like a lamp without oil. It cannot light your path. For 15 days, make one small, consistent change. Perhaps it is to wake up a little earlier and reflect, to replace one negative thought with a positive affirmation, to speak kindly instead of reacting impulsively, or to serve someone without expecting anything in return. These small acts, repeated consistently, build momentum. They are like ripples in water. One ripple touches another, and before you know it, the entire pond is stirred. Do not fear discomfort. Growth is never comfortable. True change asks you to step beyond familiar routines, to challenge your excuses, and to embrace discipline. And as you practice these small steps every day, you will begin to notice a transformation within yourself, a calmness that is not dependent on circumstances, a confidence that comes from knowing you are walking your path with purpose, and a joy that arises from simple, consistent living. 15 days may seem short, but the person you become in these days can set the tone for the rest of your life. Life does not wait for the perfect moment. It is waiting for your decision. Choose to change, choose to grow, choose to be intentional. When you nurture your thoughts, habits, and actions with care, you will look back in 15 days and realize that you are no longer the person you were yesterday. You are wiser, stronger, more present, and more alive. Change your days, and your life will follow. Have you ever observed how the river cuts through the rock? It is not because the river is stronger than the stone, but because of its persistence. Every drop of water matters. Every day matters. Life works in the same way. Most people wait for some magical moment to transform their lives, as if change is a sudden gift from the universe. But real transformation begins quietly within when you make a conscious decision to move in a new direction. 15 days, if lived intentionally, can become the beginning of a completely new chapter in your life. The first step is awareness. Many of us move through life as if sleepwalking, reacting to circumstances rather than shaping them. We blame the world, blame our past, blame our weaknesses. But the real power lies in recognizing that your life is a mirror of your choices, your habits, and your thoughts. When you become aware of how you think, how you speak, and how you act, you begin to see the areas where change is possible. Awareness is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, you can see what was always there, and you can choose a better way. Once awareness is awakened, action must follow. Awareness without action is like having a map and never taking the journey. For the next 15 days, focus on one small, consistent habit that can shift your inner world. It could be starting each day with gratitude, practicing patience when provoked, offering a smile or kind word even when it is difficult, or dedicating time to reflection and self-improvement. These may seem like small steps, but they create momentum. Each day builds upon the last, like stacking stones to create a path across a river. And as the path forms, you realize that what once seemed impossible is now within reach. Happiness is not a destination. It is a byproduct of mindful living. It is not something you chase. It is something you cultivate. When your thoughts are aligned with your values, when your actions are guided by purpose, and when you respond to life with love instead of fear, you begin to notice a deep sense of contentment. And this contentment is resilient because it does not depend on external circumstances. It is born within you, nurtured by your choices every single day. Do not fear discomfort. Growth and change live outside the comfort zone. When you feel challenged, stressed, or uncertain, it is not a sign that you should retreat, but that you are on the threshold of something greater. The next 15 days will test you, but they will also refine you, shape you, and awaken your potential. By the end of this period, you will not only notice a change in your life, but also in yourself, a stronger mind, a calmer heart, a clearer purpose, and a deeper appreciation for the ordinary moments that make life extraordinary. 15 days is not just a period of time, it is an invitation to begin again, to be intentional, and to step into the life you were always meant to live. Life is a journey, not a race, and yet most of us live as if we are sprinting toward an invisible finish line. We hope for change to come in grand gestures, sudden luck, or external circumstances, but the truth is that transformation begins quietly, in the choices we make moment by moment. 15 days, if lived intentionally, can become the seed of a lifelong shift. Imagine what can happen if you decided, starting today, to be fully aware, fully present, and fully committed to becoming the best version of yourself. The first step is noticing. Most of us go through our days reacting automatically, repeating habits we don't even remember forming. We complain about what is wrong, but rarely pause to see what we can do right. Awareness is the first doorway to change. It is the moment when you observe your own mind, your own patterns, and your own behaviors with honesty and compassion. You begin to realize that life is not happening to you. It is happening through you. Every thought you entertain, every word you speak, every action you take shapes not only your day, but your destiny. Once awareness is awakened, action must follow. Change cannot exist in thought alone. The next 15 days are an invitation to consciously design your inner life. Start with small, deliberate habits. Perhaps you wake each morning with gratitude, acknowledging what you have rather than lamenting what you lack. Perhaps you respond to challenges with calm instead of anger, or choose patience over frustration, kindness over judgment. These choices may seem insignificant, but like drops of water filling a cup, they accumulate. Over time, these small acts of discipline, focus, and kindness create a wave of transformation that reshapes your life. Happiness, too, is a practice. It is not a reward waiting at the end of a long struggle. Happiness is born in the way we treat ourselves and others, in the alignment of our thoughts with our values, and in the courage to live intentionally, even in ordinary moments. When you practice gratitude, when you choose to see opportunities instead of obstacles, when you focus on what is within your control, joy naturally emerges. And it is a joy that does not depend on circumstances, but flows from a well-nurtured inner life. Do not fear discomfort. Real growth is forged in challenge, refined in adversity, and strengthened by discipline. The next 15 days may feel uncomfortable because it will ask you to confront habits, fears, and excuses that you have carried for years. But this discomfort is not a punishment. It is a signal that you are moving toward growth, toward self-mastery, and toward the life you have the potential to live. When you look back after these 15 days, you will notice subtle but profound changes: a calmer mind, a clearer purpose, a deeper sense of resilience, and a renewed sense of hope. 15 days lived with intention, awareness, and discipline can set the foundation for a lifetime of transformation. The question is simple: will you take this journey? So here's the seed I leave with you. Your life doesn't change because circumstances change. Your life changes because you change. Not next year, not next month, now. So stand tall, breathe deeply, and take life one intentional day at a time. In the next 15 days, don't chase change, choose it, live it, own it, become it. And when you look back, you won't recognize the old you, not because life became easier, but because you became stronger, wiser, kinder, and more awake. This is your moment. Change your days, and you change your life. Thank you.